you?
Good. Nice to meet you. Good morning.
Damon Lewis. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you, sir?
Demetrius.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Damon
Yes,
Lewis.
sir.
Nice
Yes,
to meet
sir.
you.
Yes,
Nice
sir.
to meet you. It's gonna be fun.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Always fun. What's your profession?
I'm a middle school principal.
Okay. All right.
in
What middle
Norwalk.
school?
Yes, sir.
Norwalk.
Bonus Ridge Steam Academy.
Nice, nice,
Yes,
nice,
yes,
man.
yes.
Hey, man, keep doing, keep up the great
Absolutely.
work, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
What do you do?
I work in, I'm a production operation manager in the aerospace industry
Nice.
here in New Britain, and I got a couple other things, a lot of things I do in the community.
How you doing?
Okay.
Gentlemen?
It's,
What's up, Dan?
pretty
Brandon Stroud. Nice
impactful.
to meet
So,
you.
It has to
pleasure.
be.
Talk about those
Kids
things,
need it,
too.
man.
Yes, yes.
How are you? I'm Dan.
How are you?
Dan,
Damon
AV,
Lewis. Nice to
How you
meet
doing,
you.
Dan?
Here.
Demetrius.
Pleasure.
All right.
And that's my counterpart back here, Kyle.
Okay.
We only have 2 mics here. The other 2 are backup.
Okay.
They're going to cover everybody, no problem, as long as you're talking to a crowd, which it all looks like you know how to do.
Okay.
All right. The only point is if you talk with your hands, try not to drop them on the table after anything you say, because it will go boom, boom.
Right.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Other than that, enjoy your time.
Okay.
All
So
right.
do we need to hold them?
You don't need to touch anything.
talk.
Just talk.
Perfect.
All right.
Love that.
Perfect.
Enjoy.
I like that.
Makes it much easier.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. I think we're connected some way. I'm gonna tell you how.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay. I went to Harding High School in Bridgeport.
Okay.
I played football and basketball at Harding.
Yeah.
I earned a football scholarship at UConn, so I played football at UConn. I was captain of the football team my senior year. I live in Stratford.
Okay.
My son played basketball at Stratford High.
No way.
What a small world, right?
Yeah. What year did he
a small
graduate?
world. He graduated 2 years ago. He's a sophomore at Southern now.
Good for him. That's
He's
awesome.
a sophomore at Southern, yeah.
He's still playing, or he's doing
No,
anything now?
he's schooling.
Yeah.
Just hitting
Love
the
it.
books.
That's good.
Hitting the
That's
books,
good.
yes, sir.
All right.
That's a good transition.
What a small world, right?
How you doing? Brandon Stroud. Nice to meet you, Don.
We met already, right? Yes,
Yeah,
I'll
we
meet
met.
you again. Damon Lewis.
That's great. Small world.
It is a real, and it's getting smaller.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's getting smaller.
What's
We're
your
forever
So
connected.
I'm still a high school student.
Nice.
But you know, I do a lot of stuff when it comes to.
What position did you play?
like, civic
I played
engagement.
linebacker.
Good.
Okay.
I played outside
Because, I mean,
linebacker.
Nice.
Yes,
That's,
yes.
that's the premier
Oh, I
position
love
right
that.
there.
Oh, I love that position.
Absolutely.
Oh, my
So,
goodness.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hopefully,
Love
I can
that.
talk mostly about that and increasing that across all spectrums, so all voices are heard.
Good, good,
Because
good.
I'm
you know,
a,
many communities feel
I'm a
disheartened
middle
from,
school
you know,
principal
engaging in
in
civic, 'cause they
Norwalk.
feel it
I
will
was just
matter.
named
Right,
the,
right, right.
the
Especially when it
Connecticut
comes to
State
voting.
Yes.
Middle School
We have
Principal of
such
the
low
Year
turnout
Wow.
rates 'cause
in
people think they
February. Then I was
vote.
just named
Everyone thinks
the
that.
National
Right.
Middle School
And
Principal.
there's a
Congratulations
huge
for that.
gap,
In
especially
July,
among
out in
minorities.
Seattle,
Yeah.
So I
Washington.
want to get into
That's
that.
great.
And you're a senior?
I'm a senior.
Just trying
Senior, okay, good.
trying to do what's
And it's
right.
good too to
Yeah.
have a
Make an impact the
you know,
best way I
a
can.
voice
What's up?
that
As you
actually
should.
Another one.
looks like them.
Another
That's
one.
the way to do it.
Good to see
Yeah,
you.
that's
That's what I'm trying to, you know, be the high school kind of liaison, as you
Good,
said.
good. No, that's good. What made you get into that? Like, has it always
So,
been?
I mean, I'm an immigrant, so like I was born in India and I moved here. So I think just being part of that entire immigrant story, not being able to vote.
How long you been at
My
Yale?
parents
This
couldn't
is gonna be
vote,
year
so,
3.
Oh, right. Good for
3
you.
years ago.
Yeah.
So,
So
without
this is
having voting privileges for maybe 12
it was
years
not
of my life.
in the
Right.
plans
Though it might,
by any means to come back to the staff.
Okay.
So I graduated in
Right.
in
Yeah,
Not having that say,
2016.
I guess,
Right.
pushed me to,
And then I took
you don't want people to take something that we take for
the
granted.
next
A
7
lot of
years
people
of my
take voting
life
for granted.
to
Absolutely.
So,
play professional basketball. So I
Nice.
was
Something
overseas
that
for
my-
7
my
years, in
family
Italy for 5 of those years, and then
So,
Finland and Israel.
I want people to also value
And
Right,
seeing
yeah.
I
the
was
other side that we
re-signed to
didn't
play in
have
Israel. This is like now the
Yeah.
summer
And
of
it feels like that too.
2023.
When we
Okay.
don't
And
have
so
the
my coach calls
privilege,
me
we
randomly.
seem
He's
to
like, "Hey, do you want to come back
we
to the
don't
staff?"
we don't
I'm like,
value
"Absolutely
it.
not."
Yeah.
But
I'm
those
trying,
who don't
that's
have
I'm trying to
it,
keep this
they're
thing
trying
going.
to ball.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
It's a great lifestyle.
Right,
you know,
right, yeah. I
Everything's
look at it
covered.
from,
so you really
um,
just like you
I
say. so
one of the things I do
Right.
is I have
And,
a book club inside
then he was
of
like,
my
"Think about it."
community.
He kind of re-recruited me.
Yes.
So it actually was a godsend that I was, a blessing that I was able to step into that.
Transition, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
When they started
And everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. So just grateful.
crazy. But now it's just like,
It's been fun.
I'm
We've been
not
successful.
gonna read a book. I'm not
Back-to-back
gonna,
champs,
and we have
live
to
league,
be.
and
Right.
There's knowledge in
we won a
those
tournament
books, and
game
they
in
say,
my first
you know,
season
they try to hide
Okay.
it
against
from
Auburn,
us,
so I was
we
very
have to
upset.
step into
Yes.
those
But then when I was
I remember
a
watching
player,
that.
we beat Baylor.
Beat
So,
Baylor,
so
yeah.
that was like, so I'm the only person who's been a part of both of those. Which has been
profession. I
awesome.
work in
Outside
the
of my coach,
aerospace
our top two
Yes,
coaches.
I'm
yes,
So
a
yes.
it's been great
production manager
to
in
be able to
aerospace.
give back to
And
these guys.
I've been in operations and production for a very, very long time. So, yeah.
Good morning,
I
everyone.
love it.
Love it,
I
that's
love
great.
it. I love it.
My name is Henry Ronda, and I am with CAS-CIAC. I'm glad to see everyone here today. I just really want to give you a little bit of perspective as to how this all got started and why, of course, we're here today. Of course, you heard the great introduction in the gymnasium as to why we're all here together. This portion of it, of course, we used to label as the Men of Color Leadership Conference. And our initial goal was, number one, was really to offer opportunities for our young men to look at those in positions of leadership within education, in which they can really tell about their path to leadership. And many of them, of course, in the past have really talked about how it's not necessarily a straight line from A to B. And of course, we've turned that into basically looking at different paths, different professions, careers that you can go into, and really looking at how these different leaders have gotten there. And therefore, again, we want to continue that today, is really to give you some really good examples of what's possible for you, and more importantly, for you to go back to your school communities and to take action. So it's not just a day for you to look at as a seminar and to listen to some very successful individuals, but it's really for you to go back and take ideas into your school community. Number one, for yourself, how can you build on what you listened to today? But number two, how can you work together within your school communities to really enhance different opportunities that you can offer everyone in those school communities as developing young men? So at this time, I'd like to welcome our moderator for this session, Mason Long, who is a senior at the Academy of International Studies. Mason.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mason Long. I'm a senior at the Academy of International Studies, and I'm a part of the CIAC Student Empowerment Advisory Board, along with the CIAC Student Athletic Advisory Board. The first question for the panelist discussion is, please share a bit about yourself. What is your background, and what led you to your current leadership role?
Thank you, everybody. My name is Demetrius Chambly. In terms of my profession, right now I'm a production manager in the aerospace industry. I've been in production management and also operation management for probably about over 15 years. I always state that from my position, I went from machine operator to head of operations. And I was able to do that basically through the value. I looked in terms of the company, in terms of the value that I was able to bring, and another big component was just consistency. And I'll highlight a couple of things that I really enjoy doing, and that's a lot of community work and also economic empowerment. I also have two investment groups. One is called Ashe Investments, where we take and we pool our money and resources together in order to buy real estate together. And also I have a group called Prolific Society, where we purchase equities together as well. Lastly, a big component of mine, and that has been attributed to a lot of my success, have been reading. Reading has been fundamental for my growth, and so fundamental that we started a book club. And the book club is called Revolution of the Mind Book Club. And in this book club, we pick one book a month, and we have about, I would say about over 400 members. And we take one book a month, and we read this book, and we take each page in order for us to grow and be able to uplift and build each other page by page.
That was dope. Round of applause. Yeah. I love that. All right, peace, y'all.
My name is Malik Champlain. I'm an educational consultant with the State Education Resource Center of Connecticut. Man, I would say for me, leadership starts at home. So first, I'm a father, right? A lucky father and husband to my wife and my 3 children. So for me, I start there, and then building from there in my leadership. Man, I was just a kid from a small city with big dreams. And what I mean by that is that I think coming from a small city of hardworking people, I understood what collaboration looked like, what leading looks like, what it is when you have some power, and how to treat people who don't have the same level of power and influence that you have. And I think that for me, in my role, especially being able to train up a lot of teachers, to work with and do a lot of executive coaching, and the work that I have over there at CIRC, as well as in my personal life, I learned that collaboration in my leadership has been extremely important. So with Ashe Investments, this is one of my other co-leaders there. So we both run that organization, as well as just thinking of the leadership work I do in the community in terms of giving back. And but for me, leading was always something that was in me, and I wanted to build up to do. But I wanted to build it and not. I wanted to feel it till it was real, not fake it till I make it. Right. So I wanted to make sure that I had the skill sets needed to be a leader. And that started with my inner character and me being able to rely on me, then other people being able to rely on me, and then me understanding that it's bigger than me. So thank y'all.
So my name is Adant Bosle. I'm a senior at Rock Hill High School. Apart from that, from a leadership perspective, I'm an intern at the Department of Education for Connecticut. I also serve on the same boards with Mason on the Connecticut Student Empowerment Advisory Board, as well as the State Student Advisory Council on Education. And I do a lot of work within my school community. But when it comes to leadership, it kind of starts from my journey where I was born in India, so I immigrated here with my family when I was only 1 year old. But throughout my life, I was an Indian citizen up until 4 years ago where I became an American citizen. So for those 12 years, my family didn't have the privilege to vote, which is something we take for granted so much. The power in our voice to even vote, the power in our voice to stick out, the power in our voice to stand up for what we think is right is something my family didn't have, and something that we lost, and something that we now cherish as we have it again. So I encourage everyone to kind of really analyze and think about the power that they have within their own society to make change. Take whether it might be voting, whether it might be sticking out in the community, whatever way it is, we need to rise together as a participatory democracy. We have to rise with our own individual actions so we can create a collective society that comes together to push each other to our limits, and so we can create a better future. So I'm really excited to be here today, and hopefully I can share some of my story.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Damon Lewis, and I am the middle school principal at Polens Ridge STEAM Academy in Norwalk, Connecticut. I was telling Mr. Sherrod next to me that in February of 2025, I was named the Connecticut Middle School Principal of the Year, and in July of 2025, I was named the National Middle School Principal of the Year. So,
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, love that.
And I like to encourage everyone that's in this auditorium to take this seminar and this seminar very seriously. I see some young people slouched down in chairs, ear pods on, hats on, do-rags on. If no one's noticed lately, we are in a time of war. And education is the great equalizer. So I highly encourage you to really pay attention to what's going on now in the breakout sessions, whether you're in middle school, whether you're in high school, whether you're a young man of color or a young man of non-color. Similarly to Mr. Chapman, big city, big dreams. Bridgeport, Connecticut, son of divorced children, a murdered father when I was in high school. This is real. The education that you have to get in order to compete in this society is real. So please hold on to every single word that every single participant, panelist, moderator, presenter gives you this morning. I'm only going to talk to you about real talk, because the games we're playing now, in school, outside of school, it's over when you turn 17 or 18. And I'm telling you this from a voice of concern. You don't know me from a hole in the wall, I don't know you. I graduated from Harding High School in Bridgeport, Connecticut, had 4 division football scholarship offers, played football at the University of Connecticut, so I'm a true student athlete.
Yes, sir.
I can do the things that people can do. You make yourself marketable. You hold yourself accountable. And I won't go on to tell you that I was also the captain of the team my senior year at UConn. But I used my college education, my college, to further my education.
There you go.
I used athletics to become a better human being and a better student. And I did not have these opportunities that you have right now. Didn't have them. Did not have a lot of resources growing up. So my path to leadership was nonlinear. It wasn't a straight line. It was paraeducator, intern, teacher, assistant principal, principal. So if I can encourage you to do one thing today, please make sure you are paying attention. And don't take this as a day out of class. Thank you for your teachers and administrators who have sent you here because they believe in you. When we talk about paths to leadership, I talk about your core values. I shouldn't have to walk around and tell you what my core values are. My core values should bleed through my actions, through my words. And your core values are your core values. Once you find 1 or 2 things that you firmly believe in that are non-negotiables, your core values are the same at home, your core values are the same at work, and your core values are the same in your community. You are being disingenuous if you have core values at home, then a different set of core values in the community, then a different set of core values at work. Be true to yourself, be authentic, and please, please, make sure you take this seriously. I cannot stress it enough because there's a war going on outside. And I'll take it one step further. I'm a rap head. That means no man is safe from this war. No man is safe from it. So arm yourself with what you have to arm yourself with, being an education, being a positive role model, being a support to other people, and let's go dream big. Thank you for having me, Cass.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brandon Sherrod, and I'm also from the great city of Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Amen.
I'm a proud graduate of Stratford High School, where I won 2 state championships and was the Gatorade Player of the Year for basketball in 2010. I then went on to Choate Rosemary Hall and did a postgraduate year, and then ended up at the best university in the world, in my opinion, Yale University. I did my first 3 years at Yale and played varsity basketball, and then I took a step away from the court and did a year with an a cappella group called the Whiffenpoofs, and joined them for a year and traveled around the world and got a chance to really live like a professional singer and touring musician. I then came back and joined Yale and won the 2016 Ivy League Championship and won the first NCAA tournament game in school history. Played 7 years professionally overseas, in Italy for 5 of those years, and then in Finland for a brief stint, and finally Israel, before I got a call from my head coach, James Jones, to come back to the university to join the staff as an assistant coach. And I've been able to join the staff this last 2 years, and we've won 2 Ivy League championships back-to-back and have gone to the NCAA tournament. But my story in leadership and in education is completely intertwined in the idea of just standing out and being different. I think it's very common that we look at social media and the way that others project the things that they're doing and what they're accomplishing, and we get a very incomplete picture in what it takes to arrive at that end point. And you have to really embrace the journey of what you're doing. It's not the end goal. The prize is what you go through and the challenges that you face and the way that you're able to overcome consistently. And you do that with a family, and I think that's something that's been really important for me. Leadership started at home with my father, Rick Sherrod, who was a postal worker, who went from just being a postal worker and a carrier to being the postmaster of Norwalk, Connecticut the first ever black postmaster there. And so looking at his example and some of the examples that I've had in my life of men of color, that's been really inspirational to me, and I echo the sentiments of all the panelists and wanting you guys to take part in this amazing event, and I'm looking forward to sharing some more of my story today.
Okay, at this time, we'll ask students if they have any questions for the panelists. Please, when you come up, there's a microphone over here. There's one over here for you guys that are up there. At this time, we welcome you to come up. You can line up and ask your questions. Please introduce yourself and the school you're from and who you are directing your question to. So let's get going.
There we go. Yep.
Good morning. My name is Derek Morgan, and I'm from Maloney High School. And I want to direct this message to Dr. Damon Lewis. And I want to ask, as a principal, what do you look for in students that you expect to grow and hopefully follow a good path?
Thank you, Derek, for that question. The question was, what do I look for in students to help them grow and be successful?
Yes.
You know, I have a saying in our school, but now we talk about progress, not perfection. Okay, I want students and staff members to progress and grow every single day. So if I get a student that's coming in 6th grade that's reading or performing below grade level or below proficiency, by the end of 8th grade, when we send that student to high school, I want that student to have reached and become proficient in that grade level 8th grade standard. Okay, so I'm always looking for incremental growth and incremental change, because that's much more sustainable than a quick hit. Okay, so participating in class, volunteering for different things around the school building. If you have a student counselor at your school, Derek, I would ask you to invite it, to go to it. Okay, if you have any type of opportunities where there may be some special education classes in your building that you can volunteer and work during those times. If you have a study hall with students that may be less fortunate and not be blessed with the skills and tools that you have, to see how other people compensate for their lack of not having during that time. So there's many ways, not only just in your school building, but in your community as well. Do you volunteer at the YMCA? Do you volunteer at the library? I call all these things resume fillers, because when you guys graduate from high school, you're not just competing with the kids from Maloney High School to go to college. You're competing with students worldwide that want that spot at Yale, right? And they want to know what you do other than what your SAT scores were or what your grade point average was. They want to know the extracurricular activities and what you did when you had downtime. Okay? So please make sure, this is for everyone. Get involved. Everyone here doesn't have to be an athlete, right? You can be on your town's board of education if they have a student voice. You can be a student member of the PTO, a student member of the school governance council. The theme is to get involved and to stay involved. Hope that answered your question, Derek.
It did. Thank you.
Thank you, young man.
Good morning. My name is Ray Norwood. I'm from Xavier High School, and my question for Malik is, how do you find the motivation to push through struggles that you've been through, like school or stuff going at home or just stuff that happens in the community?
Man, I appreciate that. I know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to a bunch of student athletes, right? So I'll tell you, my sophomore year in high school, we had the #1 team in the state at Norwich Free Academy. So I'm from Norwich, Connecticut. And I got cut from the basketball team. And I remember the coach, we're good friends now. I actually married his son a couple months ago as an officiant. But with that being said, I told him in the office, like, yo, I'm better than half those guys. He just told me, like, yo, you didn't show it. You had 3 days. And the reason I bring the story up is that I sat up there in the stands, in the bleachers, and I thought about it, and I felt bad for myself. And one day I just told myself, like, this is not how my story goes, right? No one has the right to tell me I can't go get it. No one gets to dictate whether or not I get to be on the court, only I do. So then I put the work in. And what I found, instead of pain, hatred, and destruction, I found passion, I found hunger, and I found drive, right? And what I mean by that is that passion doesn't push you, it pulls you, right? And I wasn't hungry, I was starving, right? Everybody says they're a dog. until they had to do what dogs do, right? That means I started getting up at 5:30 in the morning on school days and working out before the bus came to get me. When everybody was hanging out during bus time dismissal, I went to the gym and started lifting and working out, right? When you were hanging out with your girl or doing something else in the summertime, I knew it, right? So I shot free throws and did ball drills until the lights turned off on the courts, right? Because I didn't have all these indoor courts and stuff like that. I had to play outside on the west side, right? And what I'm saying, though, with that is that it built something in me, right? And I remember writing it on my mirror in the bathroom. My mother always got mad at me. I said, "You're not good enough." That's what he told me, right? And it just drove me every day, right? Me, I'm gonna show you. And then when I showed up the next time, right, it wasn't skill that got me there, it was will, right? You're gonna have to take me out of here in the ambulance, right? Because I want this. And then what happened was I found this fire in me that I transferred to other parts of my life. So when I look back, and at the time I wasn't doing the greatest in school, I was in special ed. My father wasn't around, we was Section 8, like you name it, right? I just understood ain't nobody coming through that door. I'm the hero. I'm putting my little self to bed, and Big Malik is here, right? And when I did that, right, when I understood my why, right, every excuse got weaker, right? Because if I gave up, my why would have been a lie, right? And my why was my mother. Mother had me at 16. She could have had an abortion. She didn't, right? She got it in for me. She struggled for me. So my dividend to pay her back was that I had to be successful, right? There's nobody in the world that wants me to succeed, right? That like their success is linked to my success, right? So I knew I had to pay her back. So it started with her, and then eventually I had to find that, like, for me, like, I want it. Like, I'm really him. And I believe that, not because I say it in the mirror, because I have a stack of evidence that says I am who I think I am. Why? Because I didn't quit. I kept giving it, and then eventually I got recruited to play basketball. And I went and I played at Western New England University. Shout out to the homie, right? And what I wanted to say was that it was the character in me that showed up for me to get over those obstacles.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning.
Hello,
Hi, good morning. My
I
name
am
is Raheem
Jordan
Barker. I'm
Robinson
from Bloomfield High
Fairfield.
School. This question is directed to all of the panelists, actually. As Dr. Lewis said, our path to success often isn't linear. It's full of challenge and obstacles. So my question for you guys is, when you are knocked down by one of these challenges, how do you learn and grow from it?
Can I take that? What's your name again?
Raheem Barker.
Hi, Raheem. Thanks for coming today. One thing that I like to stay away from, I don't like to use the word challenges. I don't use the word challenges in life. I flip the verbiage. It's a mental shift in your head, and I use the term opportunities to grow. So you don't face challenges in life. It's an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to get better, right? So when I face that opportunity to grow, I look at it as an opportunity to grow. My parents divorcing, opportunity to grow. My father getting murdered, opportunity to grow, right? It's not a challenge. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I'm not going to play the victim. I'm going to do things in my life that I have to do in order to get better. I'm really big on process and not product. I stress the process, like Malik said, grinding every day, grinding every day, grinding every day. And as a result of that daily grind, the product is going to be something really, really good. Okay? So again, I just changed the verbiage in my head. It's a mental shift that you don't look at the world as a challenge, but you put yourself in positions where you have opportunities to grow and get better.
I would like to add to that. One of the things I see right now, and what was different in terms of me being in a conference like this, is that ROI. What I see is that we don't see a lot of students taking notes. It's very important. I'm a good note taker. So any information that you're hearing from us, you want to make sure that you're taking notes. So what I want you to do is, as I said, I'm a great reader. I want you to write down a title of a book. And if we got some coaches in here, I think it's very important that you read this book with your players. So take the note. It's called Champion's Mind. I don't know how many people in here, does anybody in here play golf at all? So we got some golfers in here. Well, to be honest, I don't play golf. I don't play golf at all. But one of the things I will tell you, right, is that I do study greatness. And in that book, what it talks about, there's a statistic amongst the top golf players that seem to separate them from everybody else. And that's the ability to bounce back. After a bad swing, when you make a mistake, you have a bad workout, something's not going right at home, the leaders, it's the ability to grab the team, to grab yourself, and the ability to be able to bounce back. So take that, write that note down. It's very important. So what I see from me running a marathon, from me being able to run corporate meetings, the importance is your business, your team, your school will have losses. But how quickly can you bounce back? And that's what will separate you from everybody else.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Jordan Robinson. I go to Fairfield Ludlow High School, and I would like to ask Malik Chaplin, as someone who has gone through similar circumstances that you have, how, as a student, do you think I should be able to balance both sports, a part-time job, and managing good grades?
Right. Thank you for asking that. I would say one is that we're called to be more than an athlete, right? The skill set that you learn on the field, on the court, you have to apply that to the rest of your life, because you're going to be balancing things as you go. But at the same time, if we're just sitting here being too busy multitasking, right, we'll never be able to give 100% of ourselves to anything. So I would say is that in whatever you're doing, be present in that, and then make sure that you are, and this is more of like how you learn it in life skills, similar to the sport, is that I know that when practice started at 8 o'clock in the morning, I didn't get there at 8, did I? Right? Because early is on time is late. Right? So that means I have to, the night before, I had to prepare myself. The week before, I had to prepare my week. So that's executive functioning, right? So I want you to really focus on how do I control those things, right, in terms of my schedule, my logistics, and what I'm doing. So I'm making sure that, A, I have everything where it needs to be and I can be there, but also I can be present. Because I want you to know this generation, y'all got a lot going on. And mental health is important to y'all, and I love that. But understand, mental health is the bridge between learning and healing, right? But what do you do when the bridge is on fire? And that's difficult. And what I'm saying, though, is this, is that you have to take care of you first, right? You have to know that you got to manage you. So let me give you an example, is that when you're in a game, if you can control your breathing, right, you can control how you play. And if you can control how you play, you can control your life. That goes to life, right? Because if y'all don't think I get anxious before a big meeting, or there's things that I got to work on and prepare for, right? I want you to understand, so it's about controlling yourself and making sure that you're telling yourself and you're doing the things necessary for you to succeed, that you prepare to succeed. So I want you to know, and the last thing I'll say is this, is that, young king, you belong in every room. Classroom, boardroom, operating room, right? Every room you belong in, right? You deserve to be there. They're not doing you a favor. Your presence is doing them a favor. Do you understand? So believe that inside of you, know that inside of you, right? Because that's weaving into the fabric of your DNA, right? But let that show in your character. Thank you.
Morning. My name is Emmanuel Adiyinka. I'm a senior at the Academy of International Studies at Bloomfield, Connecticut. My question is for anybody who wants to answer it, basically. What advice would you give to a person who struggles to find a career path, or even possibly the next step for themselves? I tend to question myself if this is what I'm supposed to do? Is this right for me, basically?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't, I'm still in high school like you too, but ever since I was a freshman, I wanted to become a U.S. ambassador. So I want to lead the Foreign Service one day and mitigate the China and the U.S. issue. That's my ultimate goal. But, it's not difficult. It's not easy to get there. And the biggest thing is, don't chase money, in my opinion, chase passion. Because money will follow your passion, whatever field it is that you pursue. If you're truly passionate and truly happy about what you're doing, money will come after, because you'll be the best in your field. And when you're the best in your field, the money will follow. So my advice is follow the passion, follow the dream, follow your aspiration, and then from there, the money will follow. So don't chase the money. Kind of direct yourself to what do you like, what do you want to do for your life, and how can you maybe better serve your community. That's the way I look at it. And then when that all aligns, everything will click. And when it clicks, when you have internal satisfaction, all the external stuff will click together. So truly find something that you're passionate about, something you're at peace with, and something you want to pursue for your life, and everything will follow, I think. But they can speak better than me on actually how that turns
I'd,
out.
I'd love to, yeah, I'd love to take this one. I think in my own personal life, I found that diversifying and trying new things is really a great way to figure out what you like and what you're best at. And I think as student athletes, it's really interesting because your identity is really, to the outside world, it's seen as just being these two things, right? I am student, singular, and I'm athlete, singular. But you're not a monolith as a student or as an athlete. So I really feel as though the more time that you take to expose yourself to different areas, literally a different city or a country, being able to go to different sporting events, going to check out an art show, going to an apple picking farm, or getting out into the land and into a field. Like, those are things that can draw some inspiration for you, and those can be really helpful in kind of aligning your goals and seeing what you want to do for the rest of your life. And that's going to change as well. So it might be a career, like for example, I was a professional basketball player. I did not think that I was going to be a coach by any means, but I also know if I was to transition out of coaching, there are a multitude of things I could excel at, and I think that's a comforting feeling as well.
If I can give a shout out to Mr. Davis, because Emmanuel, I remember you from last year, and Mr. Davis brought in like 12 different speakers for this group of like 30 young men over at the school over there, and it's a shout out to the testimony that young men, we can't do it, right? Young men can't do it alone. It takes a lot of y'all that came in today, all the pouring in, all the resources you pour into them outside the court, and investing in their future. That really matters and means something. So I know he brought us in. So just my one added thing, Emmanuel, and you're a sharp young man. I already know that about you. Is you can get paralysis analysis, and similar to what was said, go live, man. Understand, like, as a man, we don't make our major money till we're 35 to 50. Go live, figure it out, but just be great at something. Be one of one. Be like, make sure no one can do it better than you, right? Like, that thing that you're great at, you're gonna grow and you're gonna be 30 and you're gonna have multiple passions. You're gonna be 40, you're gonna have more passions. All things are gonna follow, but be great at something, right? And master it. Put not 10,000, 100,000 hours into it, right? And you're going to see how that produces in your life, right? And make sure that you're, I love the fact of that you're serving at all times. You're always serving. Serving now, serving in the future, right? So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Hainsley Clark III, and I'm from Bloomfield High School. My question is for Brandon. You said you did music before you did sports?
Yes, can you say that? Can you say that one more time? Just a little bit louder for me.
You did music before you did sports?
Yes, yes. I was yep. I'll let you finish your question.
How do I leave behind, not leave behind, but put on pause on my love for music to go into cybernetics?
And so you said you wanted to pause your love for music to
go on to cybernetics.
Okay, yeah. I think that first and foremost, again, as I mentioned before, both of your worlds can coexist. And I think for me, I was able to draw a lot more inspiration in my sport from being a musician and from getting away from just playing every single day. A lot of athletes experience burnout. A lot of people experience burnout in their jobs as well. And a lot of that stems from the fact that they have nothing else to pull from or draw from outside of what they do on a daily basis. So for all of you, again, talking about diversifying, whatever passion you have, keep that alive. Like that is something that extends far beyond the amount of money that you make or the career path that you're on. And it's something that also allows you to find different community, and sometimes being around different people can also impact the effect that impact your time at your job or in your sport. So I would say if you can manage your time effectively and keep the music alive, that's something that would be really beneficial for your life moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
My name is Celeste. I'm a student at Xavier High School. My question is for Brandon. You said you're a coach at Yale. What qualities do you see in the athletes that you coach that help them in the court, also in other areas of their lives?
That's a great question. One of the things that we talked about earlier was character and integrity. What do you do? The things that you do all the time are always reflected on and off the court. And so I know the guys that we recruit, and this is something that we do a great job of vetting their parents, vetting their coaches, vetting the people that are in their circle, looking at their social media, making sure that that's all tight and solid. All of those things impact how you move in a team setting. I don't want to have a guy on my team that won't show up for practice on time, or won't go hard in every drill, or won't encourage his teammates to do better and to do more, or someone who isn't vocal, or someone who doesn't take coaching well, or who has bad body language when things don't go their way. So these are all controllables, and if you can control the controllables, you'll put yourself in a really good position to be successful on the basketball court. The skill set and stuff, we take our time to develop our guys on the basketball court, and we work on their development off the court as well, and making sure they get exposed to different fields of study outside of what we do as a team. But again, character, in my opinion, is the separator for the kids that we recruit, and we try to do a good job of seeing who's the best at that. Problem.
Hello, my name is Dylan Goodall from Naugatuck High School. First, I would like to say good morning and thank you for this opportunity.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
I was wondering, through mental health, where do you guys think you're able to find yourselves best if you cannot go to family or friends?
Can you repeat that? I heard mental health.
Through mental health, where do you guys think you're able to find yourselves best if you cannot go to family or friends?
I can't stay here in the last part.
If you cannot go to family and friends, like, where do you think you can find yourself best?
Okay, so for mental health, which is it's vital, it's important. It's something that I believe that as we grew up, it wasn't talked about as much. But for me personally, mental health, what I've done is I have a therapist that I go to, and one of the biggest accomplishments that I can say in terms of me being a leader for my family is when I went to therapy, it allowed the olive branch for my wife and for my kids to start going to therapy as well. So one of the things that I would advise all the students to do here and yourself is that you are becoming the CEO. You're becoming the CEO of your own life and of your own brand. And you have to actually sit at the table and start to see, who do I want to sit on my board? You may got some people up here that you may want to get their contact information. You got some coaches that you want to actually be on your board. So the first thing I would do, right, is I would go to find a good therapist. Not all therapists are good, but find a good therapist that you feel like you can have good communication with. Because with dealing with a professional, what I like is that instead of, and like you said, in terms of going to friends or family, you don't have to go to a friend or family that's going to talk about your business. You don't have a family member that's going to be talking about you at the Thanksgiving table, about what you talked about. When you go to a therapist, you're able to sit down with a professional that are able to help you. And I look at therapy, right? I look at therapy like me going to the gym, or me practicing and me running. I look at it the same way. As I'm practicing working on my physical ability and for me to get stronger, I'm going to therapy for mentally so that I can become stronger. So definitely find a professional therapist, and if you need any help in finding that, I have a vast amount of resources that I could be able to help you with that as well.
Thank you.
So I wanted to readdress your mental health question. One of the powerful things that I've been able to practice is you got to understand what's external and what's internal. So in this world, there's only so many things you can control. Internal are your own actions, your own beliefs, and your thoughts. Your mind you can control. What other people think about me, I have no control over it or say what they think of me. But what I can control is how I present myself. So I can present myself in the best manner, and you shouldn't be dependent on other people's thoughts or emotions, because then you have depended your happiness or your satisfaction on something that you can't control. So why are you giving someone else control of your mind when your mind should be in your own control? So understanding that, taking control of your mind, taking control of your life in that instance. And the biggest thing is when stress, I think of it as a simple equation. Stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. So pressure is always going to be in the world. You can have pressure of tests, pressure of games, pressure of other people's expectations. But what you can really control is your resilience. How do you respond to situations? How do you cope with things? How do you deal with things? So as you increase your resilience, your stress goes down. So it's all about increasing your resilience, increasing your mind, because nothing else is really in your control except your own mind. So really toning your mind to fully be at a really high state, a high performing state, is what will allow you to mentally succeed and mentally get stronger. So increasing that resilience will bring down that stress.
Yeah, I would say, just to follow up on that, I can't believe this young man is 17 years old.
Right.
I can't believe he's 17 years old. But I think the common thread that you're seeing throughout everyone that's speaking on this panel is that leadership and being a leader, you have to have a certain level of vulnerability and transparency. So thank you, Demetrius, for sharing what you shared. That it's okay to be transparent. It's okay to be vulnerable. It doesn't mean you're soft. It doesn't mean it's being a human being. Okay?
Hello, my name is Aiden Vanden. I'm from Xavier High School. My question is for Dr. Lewis. What steps can we take today to stop this war you called on the outside, especially because of like what's going on in our country and everything?
What? Say it again. What war? What steps can we take?
Yeah. What steps can we take towards so this war won't continue?
Okay. Well, I talked about earlier for people that didn't come in. I talked about there's a war going on outside, right? And we have to make sure that we arm ourselves with education. I always say education is a great equalizer. All right, it's a great equalizer in our country and our world, that if you can educate yourself, and as Demetrius said, become an avid reader. Read and pick up everything possible that you feel that's in your power that's going to help you become a better person. Along with helping to stop this external war is you have to take care of your internal self. I always say that the things that helped me to be successful and help fight the wars outside of me is that the fire that burned inside of me burned a lot brighter and heavier than fire that burned outside of me, right? We've talked about that internal passion, right? That metal, M-E-T-T-L-E, that we develop, and that resilience that we talk about in our system that we have to develop in order to be strong-minded human beings, as our young man just stated. So the war is always going to be there. It's how we respond to the war, right? I say a lot of times that there's a difference between a response and a reaction. Okay? A reaction is often a knee-jerk reaction to something quick. It's not thought out. It's closed-minded. Whereas a response is something you've taken your time with. So if you look at the wars, metaphorically and symbolically, that are going on outside of us, right? We have to make sure that that metal and that inner fight, right, turns into something that we can manage and we can respond to appropriately.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isaac Morales, and I'm from West Haven High School. I have a question for all the board. If you've done everything that you possibly can during your high school year, but there's a chance where you can like screw it all up, what do you do?
Can you repeat that again? I didn't hear the last part. I'm sorry.
So, if you do everything correctly in your high school year, like join clubs, take leadership roles, pay attention to your classes, but at the end, like it's senior year, if there's a chance you might screw it up, what can you do?
Can I be frank? Can I be candid? Don't screw it up. If you work that hard for 3.5 years to put yourself in a position to be successful, to join those clubs, to surround yourself with positive people, right? As Demetrius said, who do you want sitting at your table to eliminate the nonsense and the people that are outside of your tunnel vision? I'm not saying be selfish, but there comes a certain time in your life where you have to put the blinders up. We have to block out the naysayers and listen to your inner self. So I would say if you've busted your hump and went through that process for 3.5 years, and now you're finally about to attain that product, you've got to have a talk with yourself and say, what am I doing? Why did I just waste 3.5 years if I'm about to screw it up right now? And that's real talk. That's what I can answer you, young man.
I would add to that as well. I think it's so powerful, your response in that. And what I hear, to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you've been putting in the work. But there might be some, as you said, some outside sources that's actually feeding into you, and you got to have that belief in yourself. Everybody here is going to face where you're in a circumstance and you feel like you're going to just mess it all up. That's the pressure that comes with it. And as you mentioned about the music, and the other question that the young brother mentioned, music is important. It's very important. It was one of the things that I started listening to when I was in high school, of how the lyrics can change the way you actually approach situations. One of the things I started listening to was Lauryn Hill. And what Lauryn Hill said was, how you going to win if you ain't right within? How you going to win if you ain't right within? We have to change the frequencies of what we're listening to and the people that we have around us and start looking at their circles. Because right now, you're at a stage where peer pressure is vital. Peer pressure, and there's positive peer pressure and negative peer pressure. You have to make sure that you're around a lot of good, positive peer pressure. And if you're not, let's start to talk. Let's start to reach out to us, to any of positive influences in here. Let's start to change that circle that you're around you, because we believe in you. You got to believe in yourself.
If I could just add something before we close, 'cause I feel like that's what we're leading towards. You are not the worst thing that you've ever done. Neither am I. When I get an opportunity to speak on panels or be in front of people, sometimes it looks like this little highlight reel. I get to talk about all these good things I did. I failed. I made mistakes. I let people down. I've lied. I've messed it all up and had to pick it back up. But the one thing I did was I took accountability. I stood up like a man, and I understood what I did. I stopped trying to keep up a lie, and I attacked what that was. And what I mean by that is that there's a root cause, for whatever reason why, you would go so far to doing so many great things, and then it cracked. A lot of us aren't disciplining ourselves, we're suppressing ourselves, right? You have to understand, when we fail, it's most likely because you took the lowest hanging fruit. You went to the path of least resistance. You got to ask yourself, where did that happen? Why did that happen? And it's a learning mark for when you get older, you become a man, you understand that your reputation goes into rooms that you can't go into. And you can do 99 things great, and sometimes people will just remember you for the one thing. But I want you to know is that you know what's inside of you. You know who you are. You know what you have to change, right? So we can dwell on it, or you can work at it, because like Dr. Lewis said earlier, it's about progress, not perfection. We do wins and learning, not losses. This is a learning moment if you take it, but it's a loss if you don't. You hear me? All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of the panelists for coming up here and sharing your great, inspiring words. We are very proud and very grateful for everything that you are doing. We are very proud of your perspectives. Everyone's coming from a different place, so just speaking on something that's affected your community and how you took charge and what you're doing currently to help the future become a better place. We're very appreciative. Thank you. Can we have one more round of applause? And I'm going to turn it over.
Can we have a round of applause for our moderator, Mason? Yeah. Young kid looking sharp, too. Yeah.
Thank you, and I will now turn it over to Ms. Odukwe.
Thank you so much, Mason. Before you go, I'm glad you said that to give a round of applause to Mason. I'm going to put him on the spot, but I'm sure he doesn't mind. Mason, you know, you weren't able to hear much from him today. But when we talk about people who are making changes and taking action, Mason is one of those people, okay? Mason was one of the co-founders. I saw the other one. Can you stand up for me, please? One of the co-founders of the MOVE group. Give them a hand. All right, let's see how my memory. Men of Vision and Excellence at the Academy of International Studies. And we were able to go. Many of you probably saw the video premiered last week that John Holt, my colleague John Holt, media director at CAS-CIAC, produced, and Christy Kaminsky. Wonderful video, but I say that to say that this is what we want to see. We want to see these groups in the schools for people to have inclusive environments. If you have some sort of group, men of color and leadership, anything. I see Mr. John Ramos in here who created one at Bunnell High School from this conference years ago. We're happy to see him here today, but anyone else, Bloomfield High I know has one. If you have one, please stand up in the audience. If you have a men of color and leadership group, anything in your school, yes, let's give them a hand. All right. Awesome. All right. And if you don't, that's okay. That's why you're here today. We're empowering you to go back to your school and get one started. You heard all these wonderful words from our great panelists here and motivating, inspiring words. Bring it back to your school and start one and let us know when you do. We want to come out and see the great work that you're doing. But again, thank you so much to our panelists. Let's give them a hand. Thank you, Mason, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
To the next.
Awesome. How was your first session? Good.
Hi, Kayla.
I'm a little, was it good or I want to hear some energy. How was your first session? Awesome. That's great to hear. Well, we are excited to have you here today. We have a great panelist for you that I'm sure will be very impactful and you will learn a lot from. So I am not going to talk too much because I know they have great things to say. Without further ado, I am going to turn it over to your student moderators, Kayla Lynn and Allison Chen.
Hi, everyone. My name is Allison, and I'm a senior at Hall High School.
Hi, I'm Kayla, and I'm also a senior at E.O. Smith High School.
So we're just going to get right into it, and our first question is going to be, tell us about yourself, what is your background, and what was your path to leadership? How did you end up where you are today? And we can start with Marissa today.
Okay, hi, good morning. How's everyone doing? Good. So a little bit about myself. My parents were born and raised in Puerto Rico. So when I attended kindergarten, Spanish was my first language. At first, I felt I had a lot of challenges understanding the material, but now I look at it as a superpower. I was the first one to graduate college. I was first-gen student achiever. Despite it all, I graduated with communications, and my first job was working at international sports at ESPN, football department, soccer, football. And at the time, I thought I was not going to land the job because I knew very little about soccer, but two of the questions that they asked me were in Spanish, so I got the job. I am a mother of 2 kids who are in college. My daughter's taking up special education, and my son is a music production major. I'm also a proud wife of Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona, where I've learned a lot about diversity, inclusion, and how important that is to represent our students.
Awesome. Moving on.
And if we're going down the line?
Yes, and we'll just go straight down.
Okay. I just want to thank CAS as well as CIAC for inviting us to this lovely event. I love seeing all these faces in the audience. It's a beautiful turnout. My name is Laura Dixon, and I believe in this role you wear many hats, you have different identities, so I'll try to keep it brief, but I'm a wife, a mother to 3 amazing children, age 6, 8, and 10, which also makes me a very fierce and die-hard football fan, go New Haven Steelers, and dance mom. I'm a fierce voice on the Affinity and District Equity team in Meriden. Let's see, what else? Is there so much? I'm a recent breast cancer survivor, and those are all my whys. Exactly. Those are my whys and why I stay grounded in the work. As far as finding myself in this role, I feel like it was ingrained in my DNA. My mother is a 2-time retired special education teacher. My father retired from New Haven Parks and Recreation, where he gave inner city youth very different experiences like horseback riding and tennis. But I didn't see myself as an educator until I had my first educator of color in 7th grade, Mrs. Blue, who was actually black. But she was amazing, and I saw myself as an educator in that moment. I was able to see myself in the profession, and then I went on to become a teacher in New Haven for 11 years, where I had other administrators of color who really took me under their wing and pushed me out of the classroom into a leadership role. And by divine intervention, I've been the assistant principal at John Berry Elementary School in Meriden for the past 7 years, and I recently earned recognition as Connecticut's Elementary Assistant Principal of the Year. Thank you.
All right, so how do you follow all of that, right? I don't know, good luck. So good morning, everyone. My name is Cheryl Hilton, and I currently am the Regional Manager of Community Health and Wellbeing for Trinity Health of New England, which is a hospital system, which includes St. Francis, St. Mary's, Johnson, Mercy, and Mount Sinai. But more importantly, I'm an entrepreneur. And I've had Hilton Advocacy Group for quite a number of years, and I specialize in advocating for students on a K through 12 basis for 504s, IEPs, racial and LGBTQIA plus issues. I am the last stop before a person hires an attorney, and frankly, I don't lose. I never lose. So I'm a fierce advocate. I am a mom of 2 boys, one who is a graduate of Rensselaer Polytech Institute in Troy, New York. He is an architect. His degree was in architecture. And my youngest son is a senior at UConn, first semester senior, which means I have exactly one more for all the parents here, one more check to write, and I am done for life for tuition for them. So, which is like, it's a day you never think that you would see. And then my path to leadership is actually, it's a little interesting. As an entrepreneur, I do play well with others, but I kind of like to do my own thing, right? And so in doing that, I became very embedded in the Waterbury, Connecticut. I'm from Southington, but I became very embedded in the Waterbury community, doing a lot of advocacy work, both in the school system and in the community. And that's how I ended up at Trinity running this particular thing. And my job there is to continue to advocate, to bring in equity, especially when it comes to Black maternal health, as well as community engagement with our physicians, as well as engaging the communities that we serve.
Hello, everyone. I would first like to say it's such an honor to be next to such amazing women and amazing women in this audience. My name is Pahansa Samarakun. I am a senior at the Academy of Aerospace and Engineering in Windsor. So my path to leadership, I would say it started when I came to America. I wasn't born here. I'm a Sri Lankan immigrant. And my parents, as soon as they got here, we lived in the north end of Hartford. And we struggled immensely. And it was a big language barrier between me and the students, because English was not my first language. And where I found a home was in the Hartford Public Library, where there was also a bunch of immigrants. And I would say some things I'm involved in and I really enjoy doing is Sri Lankan Kandyan dance and Sri Lankan Berela, it's drum playing. And my culture is really important to me and something I hold very dearly to my heart, because I feel like, especially today, culture is seen as something very ashamed of. Lots of people are ashamed to talk about their culture in public appearances. Over the summer, I got to go to this program at Yale called Yale Young Global Scholars, and any rising juniors and seniors, I encourage you to apply because it's a great networking opportunity. I got in touch with Yale alumni, Yale students, and Yale professors, and the track I was in was politics, economics, and the last one, I forgot, but I hope to major in poli-sci and economics and minor in psychology because I really want to spark change, especially in a world that democracy is being questioned a lot.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And now we'll move on to audience questions. So please don't feel shy. If you have a question, we'll call on you.
Okay, at this time, you can either come to this mic right here or the mic in the front over there. Please, when you come up for a question, just state your name, your school you're from, and just make sure you project so our panelists can hear your question. So please come up.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm not going to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Daisy Larby, and I go to Bloomfield High School. My question is for Ms. Hilton. What made you become an entrepreneur?
Oh, that is such a good question. And the very painfully honest answer is money. Money. Right? Money. Right after college, I started in insurance, and I stayed there for 14 years. And I was not being paid what I thought I was worth. And I'm like, I can do that all by myself. And I decided that let's take a chance. And how I got on the path of advocating for kids is my oldest child, who's now 26, like he's old now, right? But he was being bullied. He was a straight A student, and he was being bullied by his principal, which was real. Yeah, it happens. I sent him to a magnet school. It was a brand new magnet school at the time, and he was being bullied. And I was like, wait a minute, this kid's never, why are you trying to suspend this child who's never even had a detention? And that sparked something in me. So I'm like, if you can do it to this kid and how he's presenting, what are you doing to other people who don't understand how to navigate these systems? And that's how Hilton Advocacy Group, LLC was born.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, come on up. Oh, you can stand at mics and there's two. No, it's okay. There's one over there. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Tiziani. I'm from Norwich Free Academy. My question is for all of you guys. What inspired you guys, or who inspired you guys to go to the path that you guys are following?
I can start. I'm a first-gen college achiever. My parents left the lovely island of Puerto Rico. Neither one of them even graduated high school. They came here to provide for my sister and I so that we can be the first ones in our family to pursue a college education. So they're my biggest inspiration. They instilled in us the most important qualities that I still follow to this day, and my kids follow: faith first, family, health, and then work. So if those three are aligned, I'm going to be much more productive at work. I'm proud of being a Puerto Riqueña. I speak Spanish still in my home. It's something that I'm very proud of. And bilingualism is a superpower for me, for my kids. So I'm very proud of my heritage, my culture, and just proud to encourage more students to follow their own path. Do something that you're happy with, and it'll never feel like you're working.
And I would say, for me, you know, I know I'm sitting here as a whole adult, but the child in me is excited to yell my mama. You know, my mama inspired me to be an educator. Like I said, you know, she was an educator in the correctional facility. She retired from there, became a special education teacher in the New Haven Public Schools. She retired from there and still is teaching, even though I try to get her to watch my children a little bit more. She is still teaching as a special education teacher, and she really taught me to just love on the community. You know, there are children in every seat that have a story, and they deserve to be loved, valued, supported, and so she's always been my inspiration. I shout her out often. She probably is somewhere trying to figure out how to get in here so she can see me up here, but she really is my inspiration.
So my inspiration was my father, and he was my biggest hero. He was a white presenting black man, and he was an attorney, and he also did human resources, but he taught me and my sister to leave things better than how you found it. And that was drilled into our heads. He's like, you're lucky. You're very privileged because of the work that I've done. Don't mess it up. And so he was my biggest inspiration.
Love that.
I would say also for me, my mother and my family back in Sri Lanka. My mother mainly because in a traditional Sri Lankan household, or even just in American culture, it's known as the man of the household, but she took a step up and she got the first job in her family, and it really stood out to me. And she is the biggest hustler I know. She works at a daycare at Bright Pat Simsbury. She created this whole arts night thing, and I also work with her as a paraeducator at that preschool, and I really enjoy it. And she makes me realize that every single day she likes to remind me that just to be grateful for what you have, because even though there are times like you're like, why am I stressing about this upcoming test? why am I stressing about this? There are people around the world that don't have these opportunities. Like, it's a blessing to say, wow, I'm stressing about picking an outfit where there are people who don't even have the choice to pick an outfit. And she really just makes me think in a different perspective, and I really give props to her.
Hi, my name is Khalees Elizabeth Sanchez Townsend. I attend Ram High School, and I have like an overall question for all of you guys. So how do you implement your college like experience / career that you guys went into, like what you majored in, leading to all your accomplishments today? So like overall, how did you go to college from where you are today?
Can you repeat that last part?
No, like how did you go from like college to like where you are today? So like what did you use? Like I just want to know like how would I use what I major in college for like real life?
So my degree was in communications, and I feel that it has allowed me to instill in a lot of our youth advocacy, student voice, and how to articulate yourself and stand out for yourself. I feel like a lot of times, especially for first generation students, it may be challenging. You might be the quiet one. Get involved. That's something that I definitely did. I was the shy, quiet student in the back from K through 5, especially because I didn't speak as much English. By the time middle school came, I got involved in pageants. I got involved in leadership development, mentoring. I played tennis. I wasn't a good tennis player, but I was still able to list it on my college resume and get some scholarships as a result. So get involved, you know, even in college, to take you out of your comfort zone. Something that I'm also proud of is I was a part of the Miss America organization for many years, where I was able to promote alcohol abuse and prevention throughout the state and the effects that it has on students. It allowed me to build my self-confidence. I performed on the Miss America stage. It was something that was a goal of mine. So taking steps to really build your own self-confidence and advocacy is something that is going to be beneficial in every career path that you follow.
Thank you.
My name is Zariah, and I am a junior at E.O. Smith. For my questions, I was wondering if there was any point in your career where you felt like you couldn't go forward or like you didn't want to do it anymore. And for my second question, I was wondering if there was like, how do I explain this? I don't know how to explain it. You can just answer the first one. That's fine.
I mean, I'll take the question, but every day, you know, every day you feel like, you know, it's a new challenge. It's a day to give up, you know, lay in your bed and forget about it. But, you know, that's why it's important to find your why you're doing the work that you're doing, why you're getting up every morning. You know, I find that to be my, you know, support system. My husband, my children, you know, they're a big part of my why. I get up every day because I want to show them what resilience looks like. I want to show them that it's important to show up for people on a daily basis. So, you know, every day I may be tired and I may say, you know what, I quit, but I do get up, I put on my clothes, I show them, you know, I'm going where I need to go, you go where you need to go. And it just becomes a way of life.
Did you ever feel like there was like people that you worked with or an environment that made you feel like inadequate or less than others that you worked with?
Oh yeah, you know, and that's why it's important to stand in your purpose, you know, stand on business, as you guys say, you know, because there's always gonna be challengers who, you know, see you as less than, but if you let them know that you fight like a lady, you know, you're gonna be grounded in purpose, you're gonna be fierce, but with grace, you know, every day, they'll step back.
Thank you.
No problem.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Milan. Well, first, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate seeing this much diversity up here on this panel. I feel like it's so like applaudable for everyone in the audience. And my question is for everyone. And I was wondering, you guys already made such a big impact in your lives. So what is next? Like, what do you want to change, and how do you want to provide to this world now after everything you've done?
I guess it's my turn. I don't believe you're ever done. I believe that you're never too old to do something different. And I strongly believe that one person can change the world. And it might not be the entire world, but it's the world that you're in.
Right.
So once you figure out what that is, and for me it's advocacy, like right after this, I have to run back to Southington and advocate for a kid who's being harassed racially. You just, as Laura said, when you find your purpose, you just kind of go for it.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Angie Dodona. I'm from Woket High School. My question's for Penhansa. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. But did you do specific networking to get like connected to people in the government, or is that like what you're working towards?
I would say, sorry, well, networking at first, I was completely afraid of going up to a person and being like, hi, my name is Pahansa. This is what I like to do. It took me a while. Public speaking is something I was very nervous about. But I would say just putting yourself out there, like you have to have uncomfortable conversations to get comfort and to just grow as a person. And I don't know if you want like specific like programs or things I do, but
Sure, if
I'm
you
a
have, like,
CREC
one.
student senator, and through that, it brought me so many countless opportunities being a magnet school student. I got the opportunity at the beginning of the summer to meet Barack Obama and John Batiste. He's a Grammy-winning artist, and it was just amazing. And it's of course amazing to also just cold email professors or somebody you may look up to, and maybe the more you do it, the more likely you will get a response back, especially knowing what your values are and making it clear. Someone will definitely talk to you and help you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sanaa Lawrence, and I am a senior at Metropolitan Business Academy. And my question was as women of color, what are some setbacks that you had to go through, and how did you get over those?
I can answer that one. Some of the setbacks that I had was culturally speaking, coming from a Puerto Rican household, it was always instilled in us, the teacher's always right, never advocate for yourself. So I had to learn that on my own and navigate, and also getting involved. Because I was a first-gen student, my parents thought that as long as you're getting A's and B's, and making the honor roll, that's enough. And it's not. You have to take risks. You have to get involved even if it's uncomfortable. And that's really going to take you to the next level. I can just share personally the countless community service hours that I had, the leadership skill development, being a part of the Upward Bound program. All of those programs and being involved allowed me to get a lot of scholarship money. So that's very important. It's something that I had to learn. If something doesn't feel right, speak up, right? It's how you articulate yourself with confidence, and articulating yourself with respect, and that's going to take you to the next level in any stage of your life. It's something I also instilled in my kids. So if something doesn't feel right, speak up. And push yourself as hard as ever, and you're always going to be successful and happy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I just wanted to add, just me as an administrator in Meriden, like I'm the only Black administrator there, and it was a culture shock at first. But then I had to learn that you can't dim your light for anyone. You are made to stand out. Don't try to fit in. So, you really have to use your voice and realize that, like, you're not just a face in the room. Your voice holds power, and as long as you, again, use it, take risks, say what you need to say, you will get that respect and live in that purpose.
And I will also say that being bicultural is important. Reading the room, and I've worked with Laura, and that's why she's been chosen as the assistant principal of the year. She really knows how to connect with anyone from any walk of life, and you see it when she engages with students, when she engages with parents, and that's why she has the respect that she does.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is
Addie Salcido, and I'm from Muskenair Middle School. And my question is for all of you. Was there ever one person that you felt like they were making you, like, during the day, they were just, like, looking at you in a way that made you feel like, do I even belong here? Should I go somewhere else?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
My
every day.
5th grade teacher, I'll just say that, I won't say names. But, you know, I was dealing with a lot of personal barriers at home. My father lost his job. You know, it spiraled down, you know, to some depression. And because I was the quiet student in the room and didn't advocate for myself, there was a point where she actually said, if you're struggling right now, you're not gonna make it to middle school. So I used that to give me the strength to prove her differently. And then by the time I got to middle school, I never got anything lower than a B.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elisa Perez, and I'm from Metropolitan Business Academy. And my question is, what's an advice that you remember someone gave you, or an advice you can give all of us here?
Oh, I'll take this one. Stay curious. Stay curious. Because you will always learn, because there's always something to learn. Even when you think you've perfected it, there's something, another aspect of it, but stay curious in every aspect of your life. It will take you very, very far.
Right. And for me, you know, I had an administrator in New Haven share with me that, you know, anyone can be an illustrator, you know, paint a picture of you however they see fit, but be the author of your own story. Write your own story. Make sure that you tell it the way you want it to be told, so that whatever picture they're drawing isn't the end all be all. So that stuck with me for a while.
I would also like to add, advocation does not stop just from your voice. If you don't feel comfortable using your voice, there's always another form of media, whether it's social media, art, dance, there's cooking. Any way you feel like you can best showcase what you believe in, use it. You are not just limited to your voice.
My name is Giselle Rodriguez. I'm from Weathersfield High School, and my question is, what is a piece of advice you would give a young woman who may be struggling with self-worth or self-confidence?
You are enough. You are always, always enough. And don't let anyone else define you. You define you. Right? And sometimes you have to dig deep. And sometimes it feels, for the lack of a better term, icky. But know that you are here for a reason and for a purpose. And there's not one person on this planet who can take that away from you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Emily Ortega. I'm from Bunnell High School, and I'm a sophomore. And my question is for the whole panel. As being like women of color and just women in the industry itself, like how did you like maintain trying to properly represent your family and your culture and try not to essentially disappoint them? And yeah.
I can take that question. Being in an immigrant household, if there's any, oh my God, is there any immigrants in here? Can you raise your hands? Okay, then I'm sure you know the pressure of test season, college application season, sports it is with an immigrant family. Their standard is always very high. And I would say, make sure you're doing things for yourself. Of course, it's always gonna be in the back of your mind, I can't disappoint my parents, I need to do this for them. But make sure you're doing things for yourself and you're taking breaks for yourself. Academic burnout is a thing. Last year, I cried like at least once a week because I was so overwhelmed. And this year I've learned to like make sure to take mental health days. It's okay to just relax for a day. And I think many young women like to think that you always have to be doing something to make sure you're like putting yourself out there. But it's not the case. Like it's okay to take breaks. And I would also like to say it's important to communicate with your family with how you're feeling, which is something I personally struggle with. Like communicating with an immigrant parent is like talking to a brick wall at times because one thing sometimes just goes out the other, and it's the cultural difference. And as much as we are learning, they are still learning about American culture, and we need to also be patient with them just as they are patient with us.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alexandra Estrella, and I'm from Weathersfield High School. And one question I have is, what is one thing now that you would tell your younger self to keep pushing yourself to get to this point?
That's a good question.
I would say I would tell my younger self is keep your circle small and strong. If there's someone in that group that you would not feel comfortable inviting to your family dinner, then you're in the wrong circle. So pick a different circle.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Hi, my name is Amelia Rivas. I'm a junior at Mercy High School. And my question is for anyone who wants to answer it, but what's the hardest part about becoming a leader, especially coming as women of color, and like not losing yourself on that path and not changing yourself?
Oh, the microaggressions and the macroaggressions, which is all just violence. That is the hardest part. When I walk into a room and I'm talking to, and I'm trying to educate clinicians about using particular language and different lenses and bringing in that type of framework, it gets very challenging. It gets very challenging. It's challenging. But I also know ultimately I'm doing the right thing, and what I'm hearing and feeling from them is that's their own stuff, and I don't have to take that on. So they can keep it over there. I have a job to do. And with Trinity Health, if they're not, it's part of our metrics, right? So how we're measured. So if they continually fail to do what they're supposed to do, which I have instructed them to do and how to do it, then that's a different conversation and that's actionable. So that kind of gives me a little happiness, right? For some of them, so it's hard.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Isabella. I'm a senior at Fairfield Ludlow High School, and this question goes out to any of you. How do you advocate for yourself in spaces where women's voices aren't always heard?
I'll take that. You know what? It goes back to what we were all sharing. It's important to use your voice. It's not going to be easy to speak out in a room of people that don't always look like you. But you know, you have to recognize that you're there for a reason. Your voice is important. You know, your perspective is needed because sometimes, you know, as Cheryl was sharing, it's difficult for people to see past their own biases or just their own perceptions, that if you don't put your voice in the room, how will those that are underrepresented be heard? So it's important for you to use your voice and speak up. And I think I tell myself that as I sit in a room and I'm like, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to say anything. I need to say something, because if I don't, then where would that perspective come from?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for all of your questions, and thank you to all of our panelists. We're getting ready to close up right now, but just want to say a thank you for all your inspiring words.
Thank you.
And then, do we
You
have
can always
any
pass this
last
back.
closing remarks from the panelists before we head out?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Any last closing remarks?
Could you repeat what you said?
Oh, yes. So do you guys have any closing remarks before we head out?
My closing remarks are just be unapologetic of who you are. You know, represent your family despite, you know, regardless of what background you come from. Get involved, even if it feels uncomfortable, and always believe in yourself and advocate for yourself. You're your best advocate, so don't be afraid to do that.
Oh, I had so much to say. This ended. But I would say recognize that your superpower could be a connection, you know, to anyone. So, lead with empathy. I know you may not see yourself right now in a leadership role, but when you do enter into a leadership role, remember that every seat has a story. Lead with empathy. Make sure that they are seen, valued, supported, and heard. And that's how you can really build the best outcomes for yourself and others.
I would always say, stay curious. And when someone starts to act a little off in their speech, never be afraid to ask them, so what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Have them explain it, but stay curious and it'll take you everywhere you need to be.
Kind of similar to what she said, I would say it's important to stay educated and also very important to listen to not only to people who you are comfortable with, but people who you know you will disagree with. It's important to make sure you get other perspectives of people you know you may have an argument with, because you can learn a lot. And I know it sounds very controversial to say something like that, but I've learned the most from people that I had very opposing views from, and it shows, it helps you grow as a person, and also it helps you build your kindness and empathy as a person.
Thank you so much again to our panelists. Let's give them one big round of applause. And let's also welcome back Cherise for further direction.
And I know many of you had questions. I'm available afterwards.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's give it up for Kayla and Allison for doing such a great job. Awesome. Thank you so much to our esteemed panelists. We are so grateful that you're here today and you were able to have such an impactful conversation with the students here. And I really want to commend all of the students that came up to ask questions. Let's give yourselves a hand. Awesome. All right, but don't worry. For those of you who weren't able to ask questions, the questions are not over yet. We still have a day of empowerment to go. So many of our panelists will still be here throughout lunch. You'll also have a networking session later, an action planning session in the gym with where you'll all get mixed up with everyone here today, and you'll be able to do some exciting activities there as well. So remember, before you get dismissed to lunch, remember you'll have different leaders. You'll see some of the panelists. You'll see some people from CAS-CIAC. You will see different community leaders throughout the cafeteria, and I highly encourage you to make sure you have some sort of discussion with these people. These are people who you would want to talk to, and who you could probably learn a thing or two from and ask questions, and you can probably even teach them something. But it's very important to network, and as we are here today for a day of empowerment, you want to take advantage of those opportunities. So you will see that soon in lunch. Quick announcement that I'd like to make, so please make sure you're paying attention. This is very important for lunch. The first group that has the empowerment session, do we have people who have the empowerment session in this room?